Uh, I should just tell the story of what happened to me. It's how much La Marzocco changed my life from the outside in, literally, completely changed my life. And it happened in a day. I was leading the production company inside MTV, and we were about to produce the Europe Music Awards, but we were also producing other kind of events, and there was a guy in the middle in between us and La Marzocco, in between a colleague of mine and Guido. And this guy told us, you guys are producing events, why don't you keep into consideration to work with La Marzocco? Because they are doing an event, and was a couple of days before the last edition of the Out of the Box here in Milan, 2 years ago. And I say, okay, well, we are producing events. Well, what has MTV to do with people that are producing coffee machines? But anyway, let's meet these people, because I'm pretty much curious. So I want to see what they have to tell us. And my life changed in 2 minutes, literally. So Guido came into my office, and without even knowing what was supposed to tell me, he started talking about the story of the coffee. And I discovered how less we know in Italy. We know nothing about coffee. It's almost unbelievable. And as soon as you start talking about a company like La Marzocco, the kind of product that they were doing, the kind of business and also culture that is behind coffee in the world, I got stuck completely. And from that point onwards, I start thinking about, even from a business perspective, there was such a huge opportunity and a so interesting opportunity, understanding the world of coffee. And that is that important in Italy. You think about being in a place in which you think you know everything. You are the master of coffee in the world. And suddenly you discover you know nothing. There's a completely different world outside that completely changed my life. But also from a business perspective. Business-wise, is the so-called blue ocean in Italy. Coffee is blue ocean. It's a huge space with no competition, because everyone in Italy thinks that you need nothing to do a coffee, or that we still doing the best coffee. Once you start getting in touch with people like the one in La Marzocco, you understand how big is the world, how deep is the world, how much you have to learn to produce a specialty coffee, a special coffee, a different preparation, not just the espresso one, but the whole bunch. So I've started studying, I get in touch with these people, I quit MTV, I've consulted them, but actually they consulted me. And we've been working together, and what I always say to them is, there's such an important, such a deep story that you have to start telling this to the people that is drinking coffee, not just to the people of the market, not just to the trade. Of course, they're selling coffee machines, if you want to say this in a simple way, but to me, it's every day a pity if they're not pushing the story towards the people that is drinking coffee. If they will start, and it's what I'm trying to push them to do as much as I can, and what I'm doing with my own place, every single person that is entering my place, by the way, is just 7 days, so it's not that much. But you're going to come and see, and every single person that is entering my place, it's get into this world. There is a little coffee roaster machine. There's a beautiful strada that is standing on the bar, not behind the bar, as in any other bar in Italy. The bar, the bench, is considered by the people in Italy the place for commercial activity. So they put everything to sell. And they put the coffee machine just on the back. So the barista is never watching the people, is never telling the story of the coffee he's drinking, is never, not even understanding what he's doing. And it's not just about La Marzocco machine, it's about the whole culture behind this that is so interesting, so deeply into the art of what every day people is doing in Italy. We're drinking 100 million coffee a day in Italy, of which 30 million is into bars. And no one, apart from a couple of guys throughout Italy, is literally drinking a good coffee. no one has a bit of the culture of you guys have here. If you come to my place and just walk the street on the other side, there's another place that has another La Marzocco machine. And they do a crap of a coffee because they don't know how to use it. They think, as all the other Italian people, that everyone could do a good coffee. So they don't even know what is a different preparation. They don't know what is a specialty coffee. And I don't know if it's just myself in this, but it's not like this. I mean, every time that I tell this story to the people coming to my place or to all the people that I've met to build my place, I used to keep the story of the coffee for the very end, because my place is also about selling food or just cooking food, but it's all about quality. And the story ends up with the best part that is dedicated to coffee. And at that point, just to provoke the people in Italy, I used to say, you guess where I've sent my barista to learn about coffee? And everyone said, to Naples. I said, no, to Brighton, to small batch people, because they know how coffee is. And people in Italy look at me like, are you crazy? So you really send someone in England to learn about coffee? At that point, there's the switch, in which they start getting acquainted, they get interested in what we're doing. And from that point onwards, the relationship changed completely. And I'm seeing this every day. Even before opening my place, I've brought a lot of people to the La Marzocco offices. And I've told, together with Enrico, with Chris, with Guido, the story of La Marzocco. There's a beautiful story of people producing with their own hands. It's like the Ferrari of the coffee machine. It's a Rolls Royce. It's made with the hands of the people. If some one of you has never been in Scarperia, just do it. Just go there and see how the people is working over there. It's a beautiful story. And could you imagine people around the world that is painting themselves with the La Marzocco logo? Think about just people from Apple. The Apple crazy people could tattoo themselves with an Apple tattoo. It's exactly the same kind of thing that I'm talking about. And that's why I get in love with this. And I fall in love with the coffee world. I fall in love with these people. And believe me when I say that when you have such a good product, and it's never just because there's a great engineer behind this. Great product that are bringing such good coffee outside and bringing a culture towards people, especially in Italy. It's just because it's made of very special people. And it's what I've met with these people in La Marzocco. They're really completely different from the others. And again, I'm going back to what I said at the very beginning. There's anything more that I can say to you guys, how much I'm passionate about coffee or La Marzocco, saying that I've quit MTV after 15 years. And I was producing Europe Music. I was not just a little event. I mean, it's the most important events throughout Europe and also broadcasted live in US. I mean, it's a big point for a career, but I decided to quit. First, because music in television is no more interesting, so it's not just about coffee, but there's a lot of what I've done right after because of La Marzocco, because of the interest in such an evolving world, into coffee, into consuming, understanding, in roasting, in preparing, and in telling the story. Being into television for the past 20 years, what I've learned more than anything else is the power of storytelling. But from one side, in television, storytelling is pretty much fake. It's all about fake. I mean, the stories are more or less invented. And when it's not completely invented, in a way, romanced. The story of the coffee, the story of La Marzocco is true. It's true to art. It's true to what they are doing every day. And this, to me, has been that involving that you can even imagine how happy I'm today, and especially today. It's like closing a circle. It's been my day. It's even better than my birthday. I mean, it's today in my place. I got Kent. I've got Eleana from Ethiopia. I got Yannis from TAF. I got people from STEMtown that I got stuck when I understood the way coming to my place. And I got people from Small Batch. And now I'm here talking about my experience into this world. Just can say thanks to Guido, to everyone at Marzocco. I think there's, again, it's such a good story, and that it deserves to be told to everyone. And this is what I would like to do in my place. It's a very good story to tell.
Question for you. We have question for you, man.
Really? I'm here.
All right. Are you both good? All right. Yeah, we can do split questions. That would probably make a little more sense since your topic is a little different. So, any questions? I mean, I know I have a few, but...
You want to know where is my place?
Yeah, actually, let's start with, where can we get this coffee?
Sorry, say it again?
I said, let's start with where exactly can we get this coffee? Okay. So that is the first question. How do we get there from here? Where is it?
Where is it my place? My place is just around the corner. It's 10 minutes walk from here. Just cross the road or the railway station of Porta Genova, you find Via Vigevano. We are right in the middle of Via Vigevano. I would love to have you there, just to let me know how do you feel in that place, what you think, what you can imagine, every kind of suggestion. I'm saying this through from the art. That's the way I always work. That's the way I would like my place to be. It should be a place like home, in which people are happy to come, happy to share, give suggestion, and even about kind of coffee, way of roasting, kind of food that you could bring from all over the world that could be good to my place. That's a place to exchange.
Okay. Here, give me 1 second. Let me grab you a mic.
How are the local Italians receiving your coffee?
Very well. It will be a long story. I mean, it will be not that easy. Think about having drunk crap of a coffee for ages. In Italy, we're acquainted to this kind of coffee. So the taste that we have is difficult to be changed in a way. And I could say this literally happening in my family. So Marta knows, La Marzocco knows coffee very well. So she got into work pretty well. My mother, on the other side, has been used to drink this bloody coffee for years and years. she's really afraid of my new business. She said, this guy thinks he's going to have success with this coffee. This is horrible. It's that acid. So I know what you mean. It's difficult. It will be a long process. But the process is passing to me, not just throwing the Italian people through the best Ethiopian cafe, very acid, very different. It has to be, in a way, brought into this new way. And I'm doing this more through the different kind of preparation. So, for example, yesterday morning, I have an elementary school in front of my place, so a MILF, every day. So, and I'm roasting in the morning to push a bit of a smell outside and bringing them inside the place. And I enter like, and I put like, shall I have an Americano? I said, yes, of course you could have it. Shall I do a V60 for you? Maybe a Chemex? Don't know. What is it? Oh, no, let's try. And I've done this yesterday, and they start tasting it. I spend a couple of words, but I'm not pushing too much. I don't want to, in a way, seems too prepared or just patronizing the coffee that I have. And as soon as they finish it, I say, how was the experience? Beautiful. I'm going to come back again. And then I start moving the day after. Do you want to try an espresso with the mono region or something different? So it will take time, especially because breakfast in Italy is such a tradition and it's difficult to be changed.
Excellent. I got another question here.
No, I just think you should make a small advertising section. If you want these people to come to your place, first show the name of your place, and then say it, Taglio.
I think that Taglio is a good name because you don't need to say that it's Italian. Because it's Taglio, GL is difficult for people from outside Italy to spell it. Because usually people from, especially the Anglo-Saxon ones, say Taglio. So it's typical Italian, and there's a lot of meaning. If you want me to tell about this, I could talk for 40 minutes in a row. From Fontana cutting his own painting, to the cut with my previous life, to the fact that we are cutting bread, ham, meat, everything, to the fact that it's a place that I hope in the future will be recognized as a place with a different taglio, a different cut, or something a little bit slightly different from what we have here.
Let's see, I just wanted to point out the fact that you guys are coming from such different cultures from coffee, but those cultures share so much with the coffee industry. Mauricio, can you tell us about your work with the cycling community and how that led into your involvement in coffee?
I was introduced to the Marzocco family from mutual friends, and we share passion as culture and for the culture also. I'm a cyclist. I travel around the city and outside the city with my bike, and I love to do it, and that's my passion in my everyday life. And they have the same passion in doing coffee machine and telling about the coffee history all over the world. And I'm just noticing now that machine has a name on it, and his name is Strada, that means street, road. And in the same way, on a bike, you share the road, you use a road, you travel through a road. So there's a lot of things that are parallel from the bike culture to the coffee and the coffee machine culture especially. And I'm Italian, I always lived in Italy, and I love steel frame on my bike. And coffee machines are made of steel. And they are also a machine, and bikes are the easiest machine that you can imagine in order to travel and to move into space. And they have like this deeply rooted passion to tell in different ways. When I go out with my friends, we always, in order to cycle, just to keep ourselves in shape or go to a place, especially on the Sunday morning, we move into a coffee. Let's take a coffee outside of the city. Let's go to a small town in 30 kilometers in the south of Milan, through the Naples, and let's go to Vigevano to have a coffee, just like a couple of hours of cyclism. But when we go there,
Now there's Via Vigevano.
There's
so
Via
it's
Vigevano.
closer.
But when I go there,
And by the way, sorry to interrupt you.
no problem.
We have, first in Italy, a window that you could open and have a coffee to go, finally, also in Italy.
Yeah, you're right, because cyclism and coffee culture are together also, not also in Italy, but also all over the world, especially in America and the US. Cyclists love to have their coffee while they're on their bike. Why not do this in Italy?
Yeah.
Let's try together.
Let's do it.
I mean, I usually go out from the city just to have a walk with my bike and have a coffee, usually a bad coffee. I'm understanding these days, in this kind of event, that there's good coffee and bad coffee. I usually drink bad coffee.
Yeah.
Now I want to go with my bike to have a good coffee.
Also, the way you drink coffee is completely different because when you're traveling, you're tasting, you're bringing your coffee with you. While in Italy, coffee is still one shot, €1 at the bar,
There you go.
by bar, standing. So what you may taste in 1 second drinking coffee like this, nothing. It's just because we are used to do it.
Yeah, you're right. But the good thing is that in Italy you can find coffee also on the top of a mountain. I mean, bad coffee, but on the top of a mountain. When I go out for cycling and I go to the top of the mountain, the thing that I want is that coffee.
Yeah.
Because I want to go there, I want to reach there in the best time, having fun, taking picture, and then rest just a little bit before the descent and have a good coffee. So there's a lot of stuff that are related from the coffee culture to the bike culture. There's also the heritage. Coffee culture in Italy is more than 100 years long, and also is a bike culture. And
but also, as you were saying before, you use the bike because you travel and you see what is happening around.
Yeah.
You take your time to watch around. Exactly the same parallel with coffee. Again, drinking a coffee standing in 2 seconds means nothing. It's like taking a plane and going in half an hour to Rome. On the other side, if you sit down and maybe you see a good barista preparing a different preparation, then you taste it and you feel, and you keep the experience going, not just throwing in your mouth.
It's a time of reflection.
Yeah,
It's the same thing when you ride a bike.
Exactly.
You take your time, you take it slowly or fast, but just as much as you want. It's not told.
Yep.
And so there's another things in common between the two things. And another things that brought me into the La Marzocco world, they're from Tuscany. In Tuscany, there's a huge bike culture, especially because a lot of riders, professional riders from the past in Italy came from Tuscany. And they have nowadays a race that is called Eroica, that is only made with old bicycles, and they have to have all steel frames. So there's another thing that brought me there.
Yep. And also my master, Enrico Wurm. His master room is not just a coffee expert. It's not one of the people that knows La Marzocco machine better than anyone else. He is able to build bicycle, also riding bicycle every day. So I guess that is something very close to them.
And it was a pleasure for me to see that downstairs, nowadays, there's a group of people that work with bicycle. They're called La Stazione delle Biciclette, that they're making together a bicycle with the La Marzocco logo, with the La Marzocco stem on it. And it seems like they were together like forever. They come from the same place. They share the same passion. That's the perfect combination of the two words. Yep. And you can see it, you can touch it, such as La Marzocco machines.
Yeah.
So, question for you, Maurizio. How did you first get introduced to La Marzocco? What was your first exposure to the brand?
I saw a La Marzocco machine at the opening of a cycle shop in London that is called Kinocco Cycles. And they have a beautiful Italian machine. So I said, again, they're selling Italian bikes, steel frame, and they have an Italian machine. So I was a little proud of it.
Chris mentioned something about you encountering Marzocco in Australia on a cycling trip. Is that right? Did I misunderstand? Maybe I did.
No.
Guess
No
not.
problem.
Yeah. Do we have more questions from the audience?
So when it comes to looking from the outside in, how would you say you went about getting into those two particular industries? For someone that doesn't know coffee or doesn't know bicycles, how would they go about becoming a regular or becoming part of that industry?
Can I go first? From a personal point of view, have the opportunity to invite friends, to share good moments, to have a moment of sharing passion, and go out for something that is cultural founded and go there by bike is going to be like a great Sunday morning for me. So that's the way I want to be involved in this thing.
But to me, again, it's what I told you before. It's easy. I mean, I'm that proud of these people. I know these people. When I give you another example, is at the end is bringing to the same result. to choose every single product that now I'm cooking, I'm selling into my place. I've been to every single producer. It was not just choosing product in a catalog. Because when you get in touch with someone and someone is telling his own story with the passion he puts every day in building or growing something, that is give you the real taste. And then what happened with Guido the first time, with Enrico, with Roberto down in Scarperia. And I'm really proud every time that I should tell the story of La Marzocco to everyone. Because it's a matter of being proud of such a good product. Being proud of a product that is built with the hands of the people in Italy. And it's an excellence all over the world. And when you know that all over the world, the best coffee roasters are passionate about a product that is built in Italy and you didn't know, you never seen this before, it make me feel so stupid that now it's every day, the beginning of the day is starting from telling the story of La Marzocco. Because I'm really proud. And there's a true story behind this. It's easy.
Maurizio, you are a very famous author of hip-hop music, and you have a humongous amount of followers in the country. I would like to ask you a different question. How do you see music impacting on the young generation who are cycling to the coffee shop? I mean, how do you pack it up? If you had to package it up all together, how can you describe the youngest generation or future customer living differently, listening to different music, riding different bicycles in a different way for a different reason?
Yeah, you have to make young people interested in the roots of culture. They can understand hip-hop music, rock music, if they go back. If they go back to the real roots, to the essence of things. Explaining real music is like explaining real coffee or real coffee machines. You have to explain it part by part, make them understand where they come from, where the idea of it comes from, and they will understand it. If they understand it properly, they probably enjoy it, and enjoy it more and more after they go deep.
So you see young generation changing their consumption habits from your point of observation going forward?
I think so. I have a few younger friends that are into beer culture. There is also another growing culture here in Italy. And it's not common because we have a huge wine culture. So they're choosing a different product and they're going very deep in it. They are tasting new flavors. They are very open-minded. And that's a changing. I mean, I don't know nobody that is into coffee nowadays, but I bet that in a couple of years, probably.
Thank you. All right, so I've got one question. Both of you guys have a lot of experience in, as you were saying, Raffaele, industries that deal with storytelling and telling interesting stories. And I like what you said about often the stories aren't true, but in coffee they are. As one of you guys say, thoughts on how coffee can do a better job of telling its stories? Because it's always struck me that we have a really great story to tell about quality and sustainability and craft and all of that, but sometimes we get a little muddled in our ability to do that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And again, it couldn't be just a story to tell. But once you have to tell a story, it could be said pretty shortly. I've done it with you before. You could do even shorter. You could see Julia, my barista, telling the story of the coffee in a different way to the people in 2 minutes. But the very good part of this, and when you're talking about a machine like La Marzocco, explaining they have different cans, the only machine in the world having 2 cans, the way that you could push the steam to 130 degrees and then having a different extraction on the other side. And then you end up just giving a coffee and having the people tasting it. It's done. It's once, bloody hell. Sorry. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, well. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm that much into this world. But again, it's producing coffee machine like La Marzocco and giving the chance to the people to taste a different coffee. That's the best story to tell. And it's not ended up with, it's your time to think about this. What I used to tell to the people now, and I always said this since I've met Guido and the people at Marzocco, is don't just stop at how good is the coffee of La Marzocco here. Go to the place in which you're used to drink the coffee every day, especially in Italy. And all the times, believe me, I'm not kidding you, I'm not joking. Every time I got the same message from the people that have been trained to the new world of coffee. The day after, they were sending me an SMS saying, I'm in a place in which I've been used to drink my coffee every single day and never understood it was a crop. That's, to me, is true story. You could tell a story, and it's up to you to decide if it's true or not. You could end up a story giving such a good coffee made with such a machine and let the people be happier in a way. Or discovering something new. That, to me, is that important.
Yeah.
On a little bit of a more superficial level, though, there is a cool factor, a style connectivity between La Marzocco, the young cycling community, the beer drinkers, the musicians. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of design and graphics, there are a huge connection between the old school style in Italy and the San Francisco infographic and graphic things. So I think that once again they're sharing some roots, and I think that it's difficult for a young person to understand it, but it is the best way to explain how all the things are linked together, all they can work together.
Yeah, to me, into the La Marzocco, there's a perfect mix of, again, it's a true story, there's a culture, there's Piero designing this. So you know what I mean? With all the tradition that is coming from the story they had, Piero is still designing machines like this, and I've put the machine just beside the door, and I've left the machine at least for the last month before even opening, because we're finishing up. And what I've heard about the people just walking through Via Vigevano all the time was what they're gonna do in that place with such a beautiful machine. So well designed, never seen before. And this is getting directly also to the people, to the youngster. But also, maybe to be a barista, probably you need to learn to understand more about the technical part, or maybe like Julia that is working with me, that myself and Enrico has chosen because she's 25 years old, so it's that young, but she's just graduated in food science. So she was, and she is smart enough to understand how important is that word. But I see the people coming in, and I saw this even, not just in my place, how La Marzocco is connected to the youngster, especially for the design. And it's a long-lasting, it's everlasting design. It's like, again, it's like seeing a Ferrari. You could like it or not, but it's a Ferrari. It's its own touch, it's recognizable, it's that pieces, that color that makes it different from anything else. That's, to me, is, again, another piece of the power that La Marzocco is, or at least as I see it.
Do we have more questions from the audience? All right, I have one last question for you, Maurizio. Okay. So you've done a lot of traveling internationally, and you said you actually were first exposed to La Marzocco in London, and obviously cycling culture is also a very international culture. What do you think it is that makes something like cycling or espresso so readily translatable and so relatable across international boundaries?
I think that there's a good global movement. There are a lot of things that are bad in global, but this thing is good. I mean, it can put people together. Like today, we are together. We have different backgrounds, but we're talking the same language. There is a language of passion, and this machine and all these 3 days communicates passion to people, and people can really passion could really put people together.
Totally. Well, I think that's a pretty excellent spot to end on. Thank you guys again so much for all your talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.